Welcome back, my friends, to the podcast that never ends. Yes, this is the Blue Day podcast, and for Chelsea fans everywhere, every day is a blue day. I am your host, Keith Lawrence. It's a new season, new content, but I want to introduce you to our guest host for today's episode. He's a member of the Dutch Blue Supporters Club. It's Jorrit Meijer. Jan, welcome back, and how are we?
I'm good. I'm doing fine. It's great to be back on the podcast again. You were the last time with the Dutch Blues podcast, and it's great to let me here again. Let me be here again on the podcast. So yeah, I'm doing fine. It's a little bit hot today.
It seems a bit hot everywhere. It certainly
Yeah.
does. But things are certainly heating up with the Premier League as well now that it's back, and Chelsea had their first game against Everton. Goodison Park's always a horrible place to go to when you're trying to get a result.
Really is.
But we managed to get one, albeit for a penalty by Jorginho. What else? With him to score a goal. But we'll start. What the plan for today's session is going to be, folks, for those that are new listeners, so are thinking what the hell they're going to discuss today. We're going to review the Everton game that happened on Saturday. We're going to talk about the new signings. We're going to talk about certain players individually. We're going to talk about potential players that are going to be leaving and players that have left this summer. And we're going to potentially talk about a certain Dutch player that could be joining Chelsea this summer as well. We're also going to preview the game against that horrible lot in North London. So, Jorrit, we're going to start with the review of the Everton game. I don't know why people call it the Frank Lampard derby. I really don't. But we'll talk about the win against Everton. Me being pessimistic as I always am, I wasn't confident at all. I thought that they were going to cause us problems. I didn't know how we was going to set up because certain pre-season games we've played a back four and the certain tactics hasn't been that brilliantly. Sterling, is he going to play him up top? Is he going to play him out wide? I was a little bit pessimistic, but overall, and again, get your thoughts as well on this, I thought we played bloody well, to be honest. And talk about the new signings, I thought Sterling had a good game.
Yeah, Sterling had a really good game. What we saw this game is that we are defensively, we are really good. And it's standing good there, but the midfield, with Kante, that wasn't good. It was like the ball was going from defense to the midfield, and the ball was played to Kante because he was always free. It was really smart of Everton to do that. And we suddenly lost the ball, or it took too long. I wasn't that confident of the game, actually. I was thinking like, it was fine, we won, but yeah, I'm not that happy, really. I'm worried for Spurs. Yeah, really am.
Well, when you look at how they set up, Havertz was playing at top for a while and then he would switch with Sterling. Mount was playing out wide, which I don't mind Mount there, but for me, Mount's not a wide player. He's more of somebody that can play behind the striker, or he can play him in midfield at least.
Yeah, he never was a wide player. He never was.
And I don't mind Kante and Jorginho in midfield as such, and we'll touch on it with potentially with players coming in, but we're missing a goal threat in midfield. Jorginho only scores penalties, and Kante scores as many times as Christmas happens in a year. But as you say, defensively, people were worried about when Rudiger would leave. How would we be? Aspilicueta was rumoured to be going. Obviously, he's staying. How would we get on? The new lad, Koulibaly.
Yeah, he was great.
I thought he was very good. He was very good. Him and Thiago Silva, I think, will be a very good partnership. Silva was defying science with his age and the fact he was the best player on the pitch.
That rush of Koulibaly when he took the ball and just run with it, I was thinking like, yes, this is the person we needed. But when Rudiger runs with the ball, he's going to shoot. And every game we lose the ball because Rudiger shoots. Yeah, he scored once. That was one of the greatest goals I've ever seen. But to see Rudiger score, but yeah, Koulibaly is he just passes the ball to the left back or to Chilwell or just back. He's so confident and. Yeah, he's a really good player, and Thiago Silva is Yeah, that's the most special player I've probably ever seen playing for Chelsea because he's still is getting better every season. And how old is he now? Is he
37.
37 and he's improving every season. It's so great. And I think he needs we have those posters around the stadium. He needs one too. He
Yes.
definitely needs one.
What a
It's like
shame we didn't get him like 10 years ago.
uh,
When John Terry was fading out a little bit. What a shame we didn't go for Thiago Silva and go, right, he's Terry's replacement. What a shame. We
yeah,
only got him at the end of his career. It would have been brilliant
yeah.
to see him and Terry together. But by the by, that's
But the
sort of.
story is now fine. The story is fine. It's just like we had Zola back in the days. It's just the same. It feels so good to see somebody at that age playing so well for Chelsea. Yeah, it's really good story. And he needs to be a coach once time at Chelsea.
Oh, yes.
He needs to stay.
Yes.
Really
And I
does.
think he's definitely helped players like Trevor Chalobah with his game. And I think hopefully, if he's there next season, when we hopefully have Levi Colwell back into the Chelsea team, where he's gone on loan to Brighton now,
Hmm.
learning through him would be such a huge experience. But it was good that we looked defensively strong. I thought Mendy had a good game. It was nice to
He
see
really
him
did.
keep a clean sheet because
Huh.
between the League Cup final to the end of the season, we didn't keep many clean sheets. So it was nice
No,
to
he
start
didn't.
the
Yeah.
season on that one. But we scored for a penalty, and it was stonewall penalty through Jorginho.
I think it wasn't a penalty. I saw it back just now, and I was thinking like this is not a Premier League penalty. It's just like we got it. We got a free penalty. Yeah. Uh, what I think of the Chelsea Everton game is that it should be a draw. Everton had such good chances, and we scored through a penalty. We were quite lucky. Yeah, we think.
But also, we'll talk about with once Jorginho did score the penalty,
Yeah,
I didn't see us. We didn't look like we were going to crumble. We didn't look like we were going to concede from a corner. We didn't look like when Everton would attack, we would crumble. We looked quite
yeah,
assured. And then Tuchel then changed it around a little bit. He put on Conor Gallagher later on in the game. Mark Cucurella, who we'll talk about in a minute, he came on and I thought he looked quite sharp, albeit with 10
he
minutes.
was so good. He was so good. He was excellent.
And Ambrosia, when he
Yeah,
came on and he led the line, he
yeah.
did more in the short space of time he had at Everton than I would say, and this might be controversial, than Lukaku and Werner did within the last few games of last season.
Yes, and but it's true. When Broja came in, I was thinking like that's always the same with Tuchel, and he was always doing that. He brings in the sub too late. Broja should have been there at the 60th minute and played for 30 minutes. And next game against Spurs, he should be there in the 60 minute or like the whole game. He was great, and but he was great because of Cucurella also because the balls of Cucurella to Brocha, they were all exactly right.
Mm.
Brocha could be our number 9 this season. He really does. And Cucurella should be our left wing back and or maybe our left centre back and Chilwell on the left wing back. So that those could change through the game. And Cucurella was great. Yeah. What a signing. He was so great.
Well, we'll talk about him now. We'll move on to the signings. Mark Cucurella, we signed him from Brighton
Yeah.
around the last Thursday. Managed to get the documents sorted out before the game on Saturday. He came on. What's your take on him? You was impressed with him on Saturday. Do you think the transfer fee is a bit much, or do you think that we'll get our money back in terms of his performances and what he could bring to the table?
Well, I was watching the game with my friends of the Dutch Blues in Utrecht, and we were talking about Cucurella. And what my friend said is that he said, yeah, he looks like he's Diego Costa back in the days. He's just a hard worker. He goes in every time. Yeah, he's just the Spanish flavor we need. And it's great that we have signed him, and for 50 million, I guess it was 50 million pounds, was the
Well, it depending on appearances and instalments, I think the full
yeah,
fee is going to be 62.
62. Yeah, if Cucurella went to Manchester City afterwards, we would have said that it was a bargain to buy him for 60 million. And now that he went to Chelsea, we should be really happy that we have him. It's better to have him than to not have him.
Yes.
Play against Cucurella, it's really hard. He got
And
so
he
much
did well
energy.
against us when we played Brighton at Stamford
Yeah,
Bridge. He was one of the sort of best players on the pitch that day. So
he and Lamptey at Brighton are special players, and to get Cucurella is great. It's for us a system improvement, and it's also for Chilwell good because now Chilwell got some competition, and we didn't have that, and now both the players need to be at their prime to get in the team, and yeah, it's great.
and Alonso looks like he's going to be going as well, and it seemed that that deal was going to be done no matter what, and it seemed it was agreed months ago, even when the season was still
Yeah,
going last season and Chilwell was injured. It seemed Alonso had his mind and heart set on the move to Barca, but I think Cucurella's a great upside to having Alonso. Alonso was a great servant for the club. I was a fan of his to the point where great left wing back, great going forward, horrible going back,
horrible.
horrible going back, and he did not suit in a back four at all.
No.
But Cucurella, as you say, he's young. He can easily improve. He's got, as you say, that Spanish flavour about him because he was trained at Barcelona's academy. So he's got a little bit of nous about him with that. And as you say, we're still looking to bring in some players. And one player that potentially could be coming in midfield, which I think will be a huge improvement in our midfield, is Frankie de Jong. Now,
Yes.
what's your take on him? Do you think he will be a good signing for us if we was to get him? Would you feel that he can be better than what we've got? What's your take on? And also as well to close it, what's been said over there in Holland about potentially de Jong coming to Chelsea that you've heard
Uh,
about?
what they say in Holland is that they only talk about Manchester United. They don't talk about Chelsea. It's much the English papers, newspapers always talk about Chelsea
Right.
because they know that Frankie de Jong wants to play Champions League. But in the Netherlands, it's only going about Manchester United because everybody in the Netherlands is in love with Ten Hag, and everything what Ten Hag does is news, and so they think that he will go to Manchester United, but he won't because he wants to play Champions League, and Chelsea is, I think, the only club that can actually pay Frankie de Jong out of Barcelona. Don't think I think Manchester United haven't got the money to buy him even. So and my take on Frankie de Jong is he is a great player. He's exactly also what we need because Jorginho will go. But for a Dutch supporter, it's great to have a Dutchman in the team. But we had Ziyech, and he's Morocco. He got the Morocco nationality, but he was also a little Dutch. And every game that he was on the bench, they only spoke about Hakim Ziyech or when he played. So every match, the Dutch commentator always spoke about the Dutch player, Moroccan player, Ziyech. So we'll have the same with Frankie de Jong, and it's really annoying because I want to let them speak about how the match went, but they only talk about one player. So
Right.
that's I don't like having Dutchmen in our team, but it's great to sign Frankie de Jong. Yeah, it always is for every club.
You made a good point about with Jorginho and even with Kante. Kante, I think, is slowly digressing in terms of his ability. He's not the N'Golo Kante of 5 years ago.
No.
Jorginho is getting older, as we all are. It comes to expect, and I think bringing De Jong in will shore up that midfield to the point it'll give a bit more youthful
Yes.
exuberance.
We,
When even having Conor Gallagher there with De Jong, or
I just want to say that Conor Gallagher and De Jong. Yeah, that's great to have Conor Gallagher and De Jong and Mason Mount. It is
yes,
like the great midfield that we need and the great young midfield that this team needs to keep the system and with loads of energy putting in, because Tuchel always wants the midfielders to walk a lot and to do everything, and I don't think that Kante and Jorginho can do that actually. Not anymore, because I saw the game against Everton and Kante is good on defensive but not good on attack, and De Jong is both. He can stand in the right place in defensive and can play a good ball to the forwards. So we really need it. And Jorginho can do the same, but Jorginho hasn't got like the speed that Frankie De Jong
hasn't got the
has.
pace. Yeah,
Oh,
hasn't got the
so
pace.
yeah. Well, I'm really looking forward if De Jong signs to see him play on the Tuchel and like understand what Tuchel wants with De Jong, because that's also a thing. It's not Barcelona. It's not like that he needs to play every ball to the forwards and to do a great trick or something like Barcelona always wants from their players. It's different. It's going to go hard, going to do hard work, and I don't know if De Jong can do that, because at Ajax he had space, at Barcelona he had space, and now he needs to play at Chelsea at the Premier League. It's a great difference.
Well, another player that's been linked to Chelsea that has a Dutch connection, and we've talked about De Jong, is Memphis Depay. Now, it seems Barca want to get rid of him due to the financial fair play, which is what they've caused themselves. Depay, it seems, wants to stay. He's been linked with other clubs as well across Europe, but there's been rumours, or there was rumours last week, and whether it's dragged on this week, that Barca are trying to sort of sell us basically what they don't want. So you've got Aubameyang, you've got Depay, and obviously a talk of De Jong as well. Now, whether or not this is a ploy to try and maybe sort the fees, may get them lower, or to try and get us to say yes, so then someone like Marcos Alonso can be part of the deal.
Yeah.
Memphis Depay, he was at Manchester United. It didn't work out for him. He's obviously gone. He was played in France. He did well there, and then he's gone to Barca. What's been the take over there in Holland with Memphis Depay? And have you heard the rumours that Memphis could be coming to Chelsea as well?
Well, what the take is on Depay is that everybody thinks that he's a great player and that he has grown over the years, and is now that he's older, maybe he can succeed in the Premier League. But for Depay, I think it's better to go to a lower club like Newcastle and then afterwards go to Chelsea. I think he's not ready to play well for Chelsea, and that's because we really need a striker. We really need somebody like Aubameyang that can really score goals every game. And I don't think that Depay is that player. He's more like the left forward. So if we sign him to be the left forward, it's great. But if we sign him to be the striker, which he wants to go at the club and be the striker, I don't think he's our number one striker if he comes. He will be somebody to fill in on the bench if you want to put him in striker. So I don't think it's the right choice for him to go to Chelsea. For Aubameyang, I think it's the right choice to go to Chelsea, because we really need Aubameyang. We really need him, and he was great last season.
Would you be happy with the fact that, yes, he's a former Arsenal player? That's not a major problem because we've had Ashley Cole and
Giroud
as well, so it's not
he
a
was
major
great.
issue. But would you say because of Aubameyang went to Barcelona, albeit for 6 months, he hasn't really set the world alight, and the fact that Barca are keen to let him go because of the wages and the transfer fee and because of his age, would that be an issue, would you say? As a Chelsea supporter as well, would you say that would be a problem?
Well, we had that with Giroud, and Giroud was also old when he came to Chelsea. And before I was thinking like, no, we don't need Giroud. He wasn't always that good at Arsenal, but he was good. And the same with Aubameyang. But yeah, what the difference between Giroud and Aubameyang is that Aubameyang was uh, Arsenal wanted him to leave. He hasn't got the right mindset for Premier League football because he was doing all the different things than thinking about football. And that's what you need to do when you play in the Premier League. You need to do every time, every moment, think about football. And that's not what was on his mind. He likes his haircut more than he does football. So for to get him on the Thomas Tuchel, he needs to change his way of life. If he wants to do that, yeah, he will be a great signing for Chelsea. Um, and the Arsenal history that he got, we need a striker. So I don't mind actually that he played for Arsenal. If you played for Spurs, yeah, then I was thinking something different because I hate Spurs loads more than I do hate Arsenal.
We'll talk about Spurs in a minute. That is our main event of the show today. But one more player I'll talk about because it seems that we could be bringing him in on a record transfer, which a little bit surprised with. But Wesley Fofana.
Yes.
We've had a few bids for him already. The latest one being a 70 million. There's talk as we speak that Leicester would do business, bearing in mind if we was to maybe put another 10 million on the table, plus Hudson-Odoi on a loan deal with an obligation to buy.
That's good.
Would you say that would be a good deal with Fofana for whatever price and Hudson-Odoi taken out for him to go to Leicester? What's your take on Wesley Fofana?
My take on Fofana is that he's a great player. He's doing good things at Leicester and at Leicester. Leicester, but the defense of Leicester is really hard because the left back and the right back are really much attacking on the system of Rodgers, and Rodgers is still at Leicester, right? He's a really attacking coach with his defenders, so I think Fofana does a great job there. And to get Hudson-Odoi out on a loan to Leicester, and Leicester is a good team, and he can play well under Rodgers, I think it's a great deal. Yeah, we should really do that. I didn't hear before of a loan deal of Hudson, so you surprised me with that, and I think it's a great step. Otherwise, he would be rotting on the bench this season, and that won't be good for him, for his career. He
wasn't even on the bench against Everton, and then there was talk that he was not happy with that. He thought that because he's fully fit, he's come over his injury problems, he thought he'd be in contention. And again, with Tuchel having quite a lot of options to play with, so to speak, Hudson-Odoi wasn't on the list. So there's talk that he could be going out on loan. There's talk that he could be going to Dortmund with an obligation to buy, which will probably be a good deal for him. But we'll talk about sort of other players as well that could potentially be leaving, and then we'll talk about the one that has left. But Ross Barkley's been linked with a move away. Loftus-Cheek's been linked with a move to Palace. You know, are you expecting, Jorrit, that we're going to have more outgoings and incomings between now and 1st of September?
Yes. With Barkley, I don't know what he's going to do because every club knows that Barkley haven't brought everything the last seasons. So I hope that he finds a club. I really love the play also. Barkley wasn't that really good at Chelsea, but we bought him for so little. And he surprised me some games with actually good playing, but yeah, he needs to go now, and I hope that he does. Loftus-Cheek, I don't want him to be sold. If it's a loan deal, just like Gallagher, yeah, please do it. If we sell him, I don't know. I really love Loftus-Cheek. He played also so well last year when he was brought in. I think he needs to stay. It's a good player to have on the midfield. And what was the other player that you said? Batshuayi needs to leave also.
Bashwai, Mishi Bashwai.
Yes.
Mishi Bashwai. You've got the likes of Kepa as well that's been linked with a
Yeah.
move. We talked about Hakim Ziyech. He's been linked with Milan. I think,
Needs to go to do.
he needs to leave. And I think Serie A would be the perfect league for him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
My goodness, the amount of assists he'd have in that division.
He would be a starter. He would be the cover boy of every AC Milan newsletter. He will be the player there.
Oh,
and
yes.
Him with Zlatan or him with Giroud or with Playa. Yeah, he's going to play there great. Or not Playa. What's the other front player?
Leao.
Yeah, Leao. Yes, he is going to be great there. He needs to go, and I don't think that he will be great on the bench for us because he will not bring that right morality in the team, in the squad. He'll be
he's a player that needs to play every week.
Yeah.
Otherwise, he's not going to be happy, and he'll throw his toys out of his pram. That's how he sort of seems.
I saw him at Heerenveen too. I'm from Heerenveen in the Netherlands, and I used to watch him play when he was young and when he was making his name before he went to Twente and afterwards to Ajax. But every time we saw that he got like the arrogance, and when he doesn't play well or he isn't selected, he's not happy. And we all always loved him, but he suddenly left, and next game that he scored against us, he was like throwing some bad words to our supporters. But we are like the most happy supporters of the Netherlands. So yeah, I'm not happy with Ziyech, and I think if he stays, he does the same to the Chelsea supporters, and I think he needs to leave now. That it's just like half good, half bad, and yeah, the story is fine. He scored some great goals for us. He was good at some major things that brought us
He scored a fantastic. I remember it now. He scored a wonderful goal against.
Yeah, against Spurs. I was at the game.
Yes,
I was at the game. Yeah, this are the good things that he brought us. So it's now fine if he leaves. But if he stays another year and is going to be sitting on the bench, I think it will be a good marriage between him and Chelsea anymore. So he needs to go.
Well, he's 29 as well, so we've got to look at with his age and everything.
Yeah.
It's
But can Milan pay the price?
He has to look at his own career.
Yeah, he does. And he's a player who wants to succeed at every club that he plays. But this moment, it won't happen. It won't happen that he is becoming our star player because he hasn't got the pace. And we need somebody with a lot of speed. And it will happen when Tuchel leaves and we get another coach, and suddenly Lukaku or Ziyech both can play well on the. It must be somebody who can put some magic in the team, because without magic you won't make Lukaku or Ziyech a good player anymore. And then they need to go both. And I'm happy that Lukaku is away. And I will be more happy when Ziyech is away, when Batshuayi is away, Drinkwater, Barkley. We got loads of players that need to leave. And I hope we can make it happen.
That goes quite nicely to our next segment, and we'll talk about him for a little bit. Timo Werner, it's been announced as we're recording. Yeah. He's gone to RB Leipzig. Permanent transfer, not a loan, as what some people were reporting yesterday. But it's a permanent transfer, but it's 20 million or around 20 million less than what we paid for him under Frank.
But they brought us a Champions League trophy, so it's worth it. It's really worth it because the run of Werner, Havertz could score, and I'm not happy about it that he leaves, and because I loved Werner, but every chance that he missed, it was such pain to see. And I'm happy that he leaves for him, for his career, that he can put in some goals again at Leipzig, and that's the place where he's happy.
He will be top goal. He will be close to being top goal scorer in that league.
It definitely
I guarantee it. He is, as a finisher, he's brilliant. But for whatever reason,
not as Chelsea.
Tuchel's tactics, whether it was the fact that it might have been too cold. I have no idea. It just
Yeah.
did not work out for Chelsea.
But the team should fit them well because if we have, but it was also the thing maybe last season because our left and right wing back, James and Chilwell,
James and Chilwell were gone. Yeah,
both
they were injured.
both got the injury, so we missed really that line on the left and the right that could bring Werner some great balls. But even if we passed him the good balls, he would miss because he missed such good chances last year. It was so annoying.
I didn't like the fact as well that he came in and he played up front in certain games, and then it would be either him or Tammy, or it'd be him and Lukaku. But he would be always the one on the left-hand side, and I just felt that he wasn't at his best in that position.
No, it wasn't the right place.
He wasn't at his best in that position. At
Lukaku's also.
RB Leipzig, he would be up front, but then he would have that free role where he would go out wide. He would go into space. And then because of his created space for the other midfielders, you had the likes of Sabitzer and others just to score the goals. So his assists numbers would be incredible.
I think
that never happened at Chelsea.
No, but I think he needs somebody like Kevin De Bruyne on the midfield, which can play him the right balls. He can run. I think if he plays good again at Leipzig, maybe he leaves for City in the future or for Liverpool, where
it'll be so he'll go Liverpool or Man United. Yeah. You watch.
Yeah, they have their midfielders like Fernandes or Thiago who can play the ball at the right pace and he can run. But at Chelsea, we haven't had that play. Or we had Ziyech, but Ziyech got his problems with his pace, so he can't deliver the ball at the exact time for Werner. And we had it so much that he made the run. He ran so much, but we couldn't play the ball at the right time for him. It was always offside. Most of the times he scored always offside. And at Leipzig, I think they know him. And they know that the ball needs to go at the right time to Werner. And they know exactly how great he can sprint. But at Chelsea we didn't. And that's the reason why I think also that he is going to score so much at Leipzig. And I'm not happy that he didn't bring in the right things at Chelsea, because he had this great song. He was like a major player for the fans.
Some of the Chelsea fans liked him. He did divide opinion a little bit. There was some Chelsea fans who I know and who listen to the show would pull their hair out because of him, because as soon as he goes on the pitch, they would know, he'll be offside more than any other player.
Yeah. And
I've been guilty of saying that. People would say to me, but he works hard. Well, no, that's not what he's in the team for. He was brought to the club to score goals. That's why he done well at Leipzig. He scored goals. Mm-hmm. We brought him in to score goals. We didn't bring him in
and to work,
to run. We didn't bring him in to close down. There was games where he didn't do that at all. Yeah. And it was frustrating to watch. And I was gutted when it was going to be a case where he was going to be out wide and not up front. Because for me, he's a striker. Mm-hmm. It's like Havertz.
He's a striker.
Well, for me, Havertz is not a striker. I would say Havertz is a 10.
No. Yeah.
Havertz is not one that can lead the line. He'd lead the line. He would lead the line on a short-term basis. Long-term, absolutely not.
No. Yeah, it's interesting to see.
I would have loved to have seen Havertz as a 10 and Werner up top.
Yeah.
That would have been my perfect combination, and then sort out the wide players from there. But it never happened.
Never happened. And the profile of Werner was so good when he joined us. Yes. Everybody was happy because he was like a hard worker, scored loads of goals, good goals also.
Yes, yes.
Made good space for himself in the box, but he couldn't make it happen at Chelsea, and that's a sad thing. It's also interesting to see how everybody will play this year. What's Tuchel going to do with the tactics? Because I really don't know. Haven't got a number 9. Werner left. We got Broja, but will he play? Is Tuchel confident enough? I think it's a bad deal for Chelsea to let him leave. It's great to have the money, but we need to sign somebody who can play in front instead of Werner and play better, score more. But who can we sign? I don't know a player that's a good striker. Yeah, that player from Red Bull Salzburg who scored against Liverpool. That's a good player, but he's just scored one goal. Do we need to buy him for 50 million? Is Chelsea going to take the risk? I don't know any other player which could bring in goals for us. So yeah.
Well, as long as we don't touch Wilfried Zaha or Ronaldo, I'll be happy. But we do
Yeah,
need a striker, I
same.
agree. We're going to touch on the last little bit of the segment now, and we're going to talk about the Tottenham game, which is coming up on
Mm-hmm.
Sunday. 4:30 kickoff UK time
Yeah.
at Stamford Bridge. A huge game already. I'm a little bit concerned, more than what I would be when Chelsea play Tottenham, because normally it's a gimme, it's 3 points.
Yeah.
I'm a little bit concerned because of the managers, because I personally, and this will be controversial this season, I would prefer Conte over Tuchel,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
I do think we've got a better squad than Tottenham. Even now, the fact we even haven't got a recognised centre forward lead in the line, I still think we've got a better team than
Well,
Tottenham. But I'm concerned because Spurs have got a bit of confidence about them. They've got a little bit of swagger and arrogance about them, which is
mm-hmm.
not Tottenham-like.
No.
And it's similar to what you said earlier to me about where our goals are going to come from. Spurs, you know where their goals are going to come from.
Yeah. We know it already.
You know that already. And
they
for
both.
us, we don't know where our goals are going to come
No.
from. So, Jorrit, what's your take on Sunday? Are you a little bit cautious as I am, or are you more confident that Chelsea can win on Sunday?
I watched Southampton against Spurs, and what I saw is like they got a real confident attack. You see, like Kulusevski, a great play. They both scoring goal. Young on the left side. I can't say his name. Really good. They are both great players, and they got Kane and Son, and Conte really made Spurs so good against Southampton, a team normally every club is like playing good sometimes or bad sometimes against, but he made the tactics absolutely right, and Southampton hadn't got any chance at all in the second half against Spurs. And I don't see the same with Tuchel against Everton. We played so bad. And you see, Southampton is also a lower team this season. And you see Conte making score Spurs, what was it, 4 goals?
4-1, yeah.
4 goals against Southampton and playing so good. I also think the same, that Conte is the better manager. And because of he got every tactic right. He knows exactly what he's going to play, and the opposition also knows what Conte will play with Spurs. So in that way, he knows everything well, and I don't know if Tuchel knows it for this season. Tuchel is still like trying to do his things, and for that reason, I think we aren't ready yet for Spurs, and I think we will probably lose against Spurs this weekend. I'm not happy at all. Because we weren't that good against Everton. We weren't that really good in the preseason. Yeah, we won against the Udinese, but we lost against some low club from America on penalties. So
And we got smashed against Arsenal as well.
And we got smashed against Arsenal, but that game I don't want to talk about because
we won't. Don't worry. We're not going to dissect it for long, but. Listen, I'm hopeful. Of course, we're hopeful Chelsea will beat Tottenham. Chelsea do normally tend to do well against Tottenham. To be fair, we do sometimes give them a bit of a battering. So we're hopeful we can, break their confidence a little bit and put them back in their place. We shall see. And you never know what could happen in the transfer window, but. Just to sort of end that particular bit with Chelsea-Tottenham, what do you think the score will be for Sunday?
I would think it's probably going to be or a 1-1 or a 0-0. I'm going for a 0-0. I think both teams are going to be defensive good. And knowing Conte, he will probably go for a 1-0 against Chelsea, and I think Tuchel will take the draw. And I'm hoping that's going to be 0-0 or 1-1 because I don't think we won't score goals. We won't get a penalty against Spurs because they have the defensive absolutely right because Conte knows everything of the defense. So I think it will be a 0-0. What do you think?
I also think it'll be a draw. I think it could be 1-1. As I said, I don't know where the goals could come from. Spurs, all right, Southampton's a bit of a hard one to judge because Southampton are poor, but I don't know where Spurs' mistakes are going to be defensively.
Everton,
but I don't know
Everton
where
is
our
also
mistakes.
poor.
I think our defence. I still think this. I think our defence, despite we've let go of Rudiger, our defence is better than Tottenham.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. Of course, we haven't got Eric Dyer, but even Eric Dyer, I guess Southampton, he was so good. I don't know what Conte did this summer with him, but it's like he changed him into Superman or something. It's weird to see that Eric Dyer suddenly plays good. He was bad, so bad last season, and now he's suddenly strong player. But maybe there's also something to say about Southampton. Southampton was really bad, but Everton was also bad, and Spurs found the goals, and we didn't against Everton. Yeah, we scored a penalty. So yeah, I'm really worried. I hope we take the draw. If we don't and we lose against Spurs, it will be hard to get them back, to get at the same point level of Spurs. Because I think if Spurs wins, it will become a gap very fast, and they will win more games against
we don't
lower
want a
teams.
gap appearing between us and them. Absolutely not. No, we certainly don't. But we're hopeful for Sunday. Let's see.
Let's hope.
Let's see how that transpires. Hopefully, we'll be talking about this on Sunday night, Monday morning, with egg on our faces, and then Chelsea end up winning 4 or 5-0.
Yeah.
However, if anybody is enjoying our content and obviously would like to know more about the Dutch Blues, Jorrit, tell them where they can find you on social media, because I know you're quite big on the Instagram and etc.
Yes, if you want to find us on Instagram, please type in Dutch Blues. You will find us, and if you want to tell me something, or you want to say something, or want to ask me something, you're always welcome. Or want to talk about Chelsea, I'm always open for that. And it's great. It's also great to be here again. Thank you. It's great to be on the Blue Day
absolutely
podcast.
My pleasure.
Yeah.
Obviously, we've plugged the Dutch Blues. I'm just going to plug mine for now because we do have some exciting news for those that may not be aware. Obviously, find us on Instagram at the Blue Day Podcast, where we do try and upload stuff on a daily basis. We are also on Facebook. Find us at the Blue Day Podcast, where 99% of our episodes are on there. And we're finally on Twitter. Yes, we've sorted out our Twitter feed. We have finally sorted it out. It's taken a while. We've managed to get it sorted.
Yes.
But we are on Twitter. Find us
at
the Blue Day Pod. At the Blue Day Pod. Find us on Twitter. We are uploading as much content to follow up the backlog that we've got. We've got about a year's worth of stuff to upload. So we are doing it gradually. So please find us on there. Please follow us. Please get us onto your feed as much as you can. So you're looking at the Blue Day Podcast on a daily basis. But remember, find us on Twitter at the Blue Day Pod. Follow us. We might even follow you back. It depends on how we're feeling on the day.
That's great.
Find us on the Blue Day Pod on Twitter. I have been Keith Lawrence. Again, thank you to Jorrit for being a great co-host of this week. Keep the blue flag flying. Stay safe and carefree.